Mic test. Oh, there we go. Ooh-wee. What's going on, yo? Happy Monday. Welcome. Hope you had an awesome weekend. It is no noise time. I am Z Rex. It's, what is it, 2:30 in the PM, August 28th of 2023. We are live today. Again, hope you all had an awesome weekend, all that fun stuff. Let's see what's going on in the price action land in the market today. Pricelandia, nothing too crazy. Platinum actually getting a little bit of pump today, but everything else is kind of just like meh. VIX getting clobbered, getting a little follow through off of that higher low put in on nat gas, so that's interesting there. Look, bounced one more again. This thing has been following TA like the Jesus man. Other than that, a little bit of bouncing on the majors. Crypto's pretty flat for the most part. Nothing really standing out there. Yeah, total market cap down 0.5%. Nothing too crazy there at all. All right, let's go ahead and start from the top. Oh man, sideways as F. Nothing on the weekend. Not a big surprise, as usually weekend price action is pretty much non-existent since the futures came out many moons ago. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to add on this from last video as far as on Friday. So as long as we're kind of holding the $1 trillion mark, that's kind of the support, major support for the total market cap chart. Let's jump over to Mama Bear. Let's see what she's talking about. Well, she ain't really talking about shit. We're just getting price acceptance on these lows. That's not really that good for the bulls. I mean, No, it's just not super good. Yeah, we are above 24 still, but I just don't really like being below 28 like we've been talking about for a while. And also, we had our first open and close below the 21 EMA. So we did get that officially to happen. We were mentioning that on Friday and last week. If we did get the close like this, open and close for one, we're going to have to start changing our tune here if we get one more. That's why I usually like at least two candles, preferably three, especially for major trend changes. And a weekly pivot, I would consider a major trend change, especially on Mama Bear. And so we've got one. Now, it isn't a very convincing candle to the downside because it is a doji right on the range. And technically, it is higher, although barely. It is higher than this 25.9 area sitting at around 26 flat. It's actually 26.90. Of course, it's 26.90 because you have to have 6 and 9 and 4 and 2 and everything. That's the only way price action works now is with meme power, if you didn't know. Joking aside, we are just incrementally higher low and incrementally higher high. So we are super, super tight right here between, 24,000 handle and the 30,000 handle. So definitely this is warranting caution. Open and close below 21 and the 200 and the 55 is no joke. I don't think it's on the Mama yet. Let's see. No, not quite. The Mama's actually got support down here on this swing low at about 24.8. So another one of these, especially if it starts opening to the downside, the body that is, especially if we start seeing that. And man, God forbid for the bulls, if we see a body take out this 25.3 tail on this doji from last week, that would be pretty damn bearish. And I would be looking for probably at least a tap of 24 and maybe even a breach to this trend line down here, possibly. Really just kind of in a very precarious spot. If we zoom in a little bit to the daily, to the 458. Man, look how tight this is. Look at this shite. Got the expansion real fast, but then no follow through. So that is a little bit interesting that the bears aren't able to push from here. And if we look at the daily, the 21 still ain't going to provide pressure for, the first week of September, assuming we just kept going sideways. But just kind of barely holding on, looking a little bit not so nice, but haven't confirmed yet on the weekly that this is totally botched for doubles. It's close as hell, though, I'll tell you. All right, let's see what we got here. Still got the gap, just price acceptance, pretty much the exact same posturing. And we are smack in the middle of the long-term and short-term moving averages. If you listen to the show a lot, I don't like taking trades from that point, and it is very much 50-50. And the one thing that is weird about Bitcoin, just relative to other tradables, is GBDC is actually still atop its late spring, early summer consolidation phase. So we can kind of really see that here on the weekly, simplified a little bit. It's also on top of the 21 EMA. So this is actually very interesting to me that spot price is getting a little bit more freaky and scary and trying to ignite the bears, but Grayscale is actually showing that we're just chilling right on major support. And the structure on this is just way more better. We talked about this last week a little bit. And you just got this up, nice, perfect sine wave, respecting this trend line, respecting the EMAs. And we're doing it again on top of structure. So if we flip back to spot price, that's very different posturing than spot price. They almost don't look like the same chart. And like we talked about too last week, look where Bitcoin made a fake out to the upside, right? And if we jump over to GBDC never did that. It actually never even made a new high right here. And it was signaling that, oh, wait, the bulls maybe ain't as strong as they're showing, advertising. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. I'll find it eventually. And so this has happened a couple of times with GBDC. So pretty interesting, or more than a couple, probably like 3 or 4. This is pretty interesting that we're having such better structure on Grayscale. So is the flip side of this happening? We're getting spot looking kind of nasty instead of spot looking really good. We're on the other side, opposite. Is it looking kind of nasty, but GBDC still holding up, signaling no, it's fine. We're just in a deep liquidation break. And it is very intriguing to me, and I'll be watching this closely. If this thing can't get below like 16, of course, it's 16.9, just like we talked about earlier. It has to be meme power numbers or it doesn't count. So 16.9, if as long as it's holding that, it's just very interesting. I'm not gonna put all my weight on this. I don't trade off the GBTC chart, but just seeing some of these bifurcations between spot and GBTC in the past is kind of interesting to me. And there is a little bit of a gap right here too. If this thing were to bounce from right here, I would expect a pretty good move to the upside. And we probably, if this were to get back above 28K and all that jazz, I would be looking for a breach of these local highs because that would be pretty long consolidation here. I mean, this is all the way back to March, y'all. So this is literally 170 days almost of sideways for the most part. So yeah, GBDC kind of signaling a little bit that we possibly are just on a deep liquidation break. Kind of interesting. All right, let's see here. What the hell is that? Sorry, it looked like someone was just walking up to my door. Better not be. I'm in the middle of my stream, bro. All right, let's go to, wow, weekly. We're getting vol flashes building on the weekly again. What the hell is going on, man? So we got all the vol flashes back here right before the big dump. If y'all don't use historical volatility, you should. But also, who the hell do I know? I'm just some jackass on the internet. But we just got this price consolidation. Looks a little bit, it looks a little worse than Bitcoin's, just because we got a little deeper retrace right on top of the 200. Bitcoin's still, I'm sorry, I got it backwards. It looks better than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's sub everything, all the EMAs, and Ethereum is just sitting right on top of it. And if we go to the daily, it technically is, bulls are trying to pick up these tails here, making a little bit higher lows on each tail from each of the sell-offs. Are we below? No, we're not even close to below the 26 level yet. So still got a lot of work to do there. Let's zoom in just a tad. Yeah, nothing really on these low time frames. It is just chilling on the lows, chilling like a bear villain or something. And probably got about also to the beginning of September for the 21 to meet up on the daily time frame. Again, give me 1 second. What the hell is going on? Man, I'm tripping over here, I guess. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, sometimes we get those damn solicitors trying to sell you solar and shit. It's like, dude, no, I don't want any solar. Thank you. Ethereum, maybe if the terms were better, but a lot of those terms suck. Before I digress, though, let's just jump back to the price action. Ethereum futures, pretty nasty. And there is, I guess there is ETH. I never really look at this. It's also holding its 21, kind of like Bitcoin's ETF from Grayscale, or not ETF, sorry, it's a trust, but it's still making higher highs, higher lows. So we've got a lot of bifurcation between spot and futures and some of the trust stuff. So pretty interesting. Like, because if you looked at this, you'd be like, "Ooh, shit, this looks pretty nasty." But then if you look at this one, you're like, "Oh, that's just liquidation break. This actually still looks pretty damn healthy." So a little bit confusing here. And interesting that we're getting a weekly vol flash starting to print. Yes, it is the first day, so that could easily be negated. There's still 6 days and change on it. And just to add to real quick, that we are above the 382s, which for Bitcoin are about right here. And if y'all want to just see how we draw that real fast, you just take the lows to the highs like so. And it's coincidentally sitting right on top of our horizontal right here at about 24K. And then same here, just below this horizontal is 15, 20 or so. We could just call it 15 flat for kind of the trend. And, until we're really below that, we're just like right on the cusp of like getting bearish. It's so close. So close. Let's go to Litecoin. What is Charlie Lee doing? Charlie could not be hovering on top of this horizontal more than it is right now. I don't know if y'all can see this good. Let me brighten it up a little bit because this is kind of crazy. And this is dotted. I don't want dotted. Let's go to dashed. Look at this. I mean, it is literally just skimming atop this horizontal. Price acceptance in the middle of this candle. You know, it's kind of wild that bears couldn't get any momentum off of this. A little also surprising. Let's see, on the 458. Yeah, just almost lost the momentum here by the bulls. If the 458 goes back under 26, we could definitely be seeing a rally, and that could potentially happen here in the next day or two. So keep an eye out on that. I think DMI is one of the more important indicators, at least in my opinion. But very interesting here that we're just hovering like Jesus on water right at about $64. And it is still above all of this price action looking left from last fall and late summer. So pretty interesting. Oh, and also don't forget that monthlies do close this week. So let's jump back over. I think on Thursday. Yeah, on Thursday, the monthly will close. And we'll check that out probably on Friday's video because it'll be officially closed. But, you know, this piercing back below the 21, not the best look. But again, hovering on that frickin' 24. I will say the chart gods are not making it easy right now. That's for sure. They're getting everyone a little bit scared, but not quite confirming yet. So I'm cautiously bullish still here. This chart still looks like shit. It's just been getting worked by the 21 weekly. We're below all this crap. I mean, yeah, we're above $13. So, I mean, this actually hasn't freaking changed in a lot of videos, almost like the entire year, like above about 14 and below like 21. That's like this big range it's been in until it's comfortably above or below that for like 2 or 3 weeks. It's just freaking range bound and boring as shit. XRP finding a little support right on its EMAs, right on the trend line, right atop structure. You know, you could argue that this is a re-entry point for a long, especially if you sold up here on the pampage. You could argue that for sure with the pretty tight stop, I'd say of about 48 pennies. Pretty interesting action, though. This doesn't look terrible. I mean, this is definitely just sine waving out. I think the worst possible scenario for this is if this does confirm to be a false breakout. We probably will test all the way to like upper mid 30s, something like that. I wouldn't even be concerned about that until we lost 48 cents, though, on at least 2 or 3 dailies. XLM's just kind of doing the same thing, just chilling. It's just chilling, just sideways as hell, in between long and short term moving averages. Losing this again right here at about 11. Make a wish. That would look real nasty. Tron still hovering above the 21, so it still actually looks pretty fine. One of the better looking charts structure wise. Not really concerned about this until we start breaching 7.2, somewhere in the low sevens right there. Dot looks like crap because it's looked like crap for a really long time. It's actually filling out a symmetrical triangle here. You can see something like that. And we are at about the 70-something% marker. So generally that is where they break. Or I should say traditionally that's where they break. Crypto is funny, though. I have seen crypto fill out more triangles than any other tradable that I've ever traded. It is kind of annoying, too, sometimes. He's like, oh, it should be technically breaking out from here, and then it just fucking fills that shit in all the way to the apex. It's like, oh, thanks. But anyway, this one's kind of the same shit. 420 above that. It's like, I guess it's okay. I just think it's one of the worst looking charts. It just hasn't really got anywhere. And you know, I guess if you really want to make an argument here for like longing against this cluster from all the way in mid 2020, right, pretty much at the $4 to $4.20 range is a stop. I guess you could argue that. I would just expect that to get stopped out until. Well, hold on. Let's see. We are getting a little bit of bullish act today. Like Dot's actually the only one that's up today. And we are going below. Oh, here, this is what I'm looking for, actually, right here, for Mama Bear to do this. is the bears get back into the neutral zone, which I define as between 16 and 26 on the DMI. So this is kind of actually interesting. Maybe that does put a little bit more weight about longing here and then having that $4, 420 risk stop loss there. Interesting. And I mean, you could argue this is a stretched out H pattern. So off of that note, after kind of analyzing this out loud, if this kind of rallies up and gets comfy back above $5, this pitch does have a chance to run. Interesting. We've been talking shit about it for so long. Those are the ones that'll sneak up on you out of nowhere. ADA is in a very similar position as DOT, looking to the left. We're kind of just chilling. Here, let's zoom out a little bit. Looking to the left, we're kind of all this cluster from the first pump back when everyone thought crypto was a total joke. So we are kind of chilling in that right in the middle of price action. So just like DOT's 420 area, we could probably say this is about low 20 cents, maybe. But the weekly just looks so bleh. I just really don't like this weekly chart. High risk, high reward, though, right? Link, the Marines are doing nothing. They are just going sideways. They're actually getting a little bit heavy. We got this engulfing candle right here, this white one next to the blue. That's a little bit whack for bulls. And I mean, until they regain like $6.09, because that's how we have to do it. Until we got back above probably about 6.9, then it's a little bit heavy for sure. This candle is probably the worst part of this intermediate structure right here. But zooming out and looking left, you're like, oh shit, how many times has it bounced from this region? Like 5,000. So is it going to be one more? It is until it ain't, right? EOS has now filled out the entire stupid triangle. Literally today or maybe tomorrow is the apex. Speaking of filling up triangles like crypto likes to do, we have done so. And this chart does not look good at all. There's nothing really even remotely sexy about this chart until we get back above 60 cents. BCH getting a little selling pressure today in the middle of the long and short-term moving averages. Nothing really to add to this from last week. It's still above the 21 moving average, so that's pretty good. And as long as it's hovering about like 180 on the shorter-term time frames, that's okay. Losing 180 though starts to get pretty nasty. And the Bears, I would imagine, start getting the Momo back. To the top side, we really need to get back above like 210. BSV is just lollygagging around, just like freaking everything. Yay. Nasty looking chart, though. I mean, it's trying to base, I guess. We got a decent reaction a couple weeks ago. No follow through last week as we kind of just sit above this little pivot point at about $25. Yeah, I mean, this reaction's probably the best looking thing short term coming up off of this low. But really need to see the bulls do something because you're starting to get downward slopes now in all the moving averages on a daily. So where would I change my mind? Back above like 34-ish. XMR, what are you doing? What's this guy's name? Fluffy? What's Fluffy doing? Fluffy is not being very fluffy. He is defluffed. He has been defluffed after it lost that 158 area. Definitively on this open and close. It immediately next day said suck it to the bulls, and now we're just kind of lollygagging in this low deep area of like mid 140s. Does it have decent support here? Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, because if you're looking back over here, you got this swing high, this little cluster, this little kind of ping pong cluster. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty decent. And then obviously all this sideways action, not making it easy, that's for sure. There is a trend line cross right here at about 142. Of course, it's 142. Where else would it be? That maybe temporarily could use for kind of short-term pivots. So above that, it's like arguably okay off of these bounces, but definitely high risk. We're starting to get slopes on the dailies now, even on the 200. So that kind of sucks. Zcash, again, cautiously bullish, I think is the theme right now. Kind of the same as last week. Sideways as hell, just price acceptance so far on the body. The best thing about some of these is they did come up 50% off of the tail, and we have not had any bodies been able to go below on a lot of these coins, go below that dump fest that started on the 17th for most stuff. So, I mean, you got to give bulls a little bit of credit there. They just need to get the party going a little bit more. Hey, happy Monday, Mr. Hellbound. Hope you're doing well today. Dash is whack. I don't even care about this chart until it's back above 2750. This is, yeah, suck that chart. Terrible. Sideways as hell for Doge. Yeah, I mean, look at this, getting slowly worked. Lower highs, lower lows, all the way back since late October. Wow. Okay, well, Doge, what are you doing with your life right now? Everyone, they're just sad. Cheems finally died, so everyone's just like, well, Doge is dead, I guess. Interestingly enough, we are getting a vol flash, though, potentially going to print today. Ooh, I kind of like that. I kind of like that for the Bulls. Last time we had one was right here for a little bit of pumpage. And then the last time we really had one was actually right here the day before it started pumping and went to the moon for a second. Pretty interesting. Very precarious spot here. Again, cautiously bullish, but does it have some decent support at 6 flat? Yeah, it definitely does. I really want to see it get back above 666 though. And look out for this vol flash. If that closes today, maybe we'll get some resolution on this fairly quickly, because the last time the vol flashes came in, price said, let's go pretty much immediately. STX looks like trash. This sucks. Below this swing low at about 50 cents. Yep, garbage. Starting to work its way down too. Losing this little tail right here at about 44 pennies. Man, that easily opens this door to upper 30s. And major support after that is probably about 32. True Fi has been trash Fi. Oh man, this is just not a great looking chart. Really needs old 2.8. A lot of these little shit coins just don't really care until I see Mama Bear do something a little bit more better. And there needs to be a lot of work done in this. I will say it is interesting that, hold on, we don't have our horizontals down here. Hold up. Let's add those real quick. Oh, right here. Well, maybe. I wanted to draw on there. Come on. There it goes. So it is interesting, though, that DMI is battling above 26. You generally do not see that very often. It's usually one or the other is above 26 in the power zone. But what this does imply is that there is going to be a very large move fairly soon. Whenever you see both DMI plus and minus up here above 26, that means there's the war is strong. They're getting bloody down here in the trenches. So one side's about to become victorious and probably rip to the other sides of ranges. And if we zoom out to the weekly, oh man, so it's pretty much we're either about to break and go into black hole mode, or we got to breach about 4 pennies and hit maybe tops of ranges, like 4.8 to 5 or so, something like that. Man, Radix is just freaking static, dude. This is just super uber sideways. Losing this swing low at 5 flat. Let's pull a fib on that and just see how far the 786 is. About 4.5 to 3.8, so pretty good range, which coincides very well with all this chop fest. So that would be kind of my target if we lost 5 cents. Would be pretty much low mid fours, and then have to reassess from there. On the flip side, for the Bulls, really need to just get back above this swing high at about 5.7. V-Chain, same shit as last week. It's just sideways as F. 1.5 to 1.65. So easy peasy on that one. Atom is just bleeding slowly. The slow death. Boiling the frog. It's kind of like a sloppy symmetrical triangle. I'm sorry, a descending triangle. Let's get rid of this line. We don't need that anymore. But pretty funky pattern. I mean, it's got this little tail way back over here at like 6.9. Of course, it's at 6.9 because where else would it be? Below 6.9 opens up the swing low to this at about 5.75. have to reassess. But if this does hold and we start getting some dailies above like 750, we do it. That would set up a pretty good chance to run up between like 830 and like 950. So maybe keep an eye on that. Wow, just Osmos is dying. Well, at least there, I do have some of this staked. So at least I'm getting like 30 something percent a year as it goes down 30% a week. So that's a really good trade. If you didn't know the math on that, obviously I'm being sarcastic, but well, obvious, it's not obvious, I guess. You don't know. Sometimes I feel like, especially nowadays, with all the clown world shit, it's like people are not being sarcastic, and you're like, damn, bro, you're for real. Okay. Shit. All right, buddy. But this is just in price discovery mode to the downside right now. It doesn't really have any end in sight at this point. Let's see if there's even bearish divergence or bullish divergence anywhere. No. I mean, there was from here to here, but then it got erased on this one. So it's literally in shit mode right now. Ton. Whoa. Ton pumped to $2 today. What? What the hell? Hold on. Let's zoom in on that. Yeah. Okay. That's probably just although there is some volume. Weird. That's probably a bad print. I guess we can look at like a different exchange real quick. What are we on? CoinX. Let's go to KuCoin. Okay, yeah, that's probably just a bad print there. So, but this actually looks better than a lot of the other coins. You know, you could argue this is like an accumulation type pattern, with the little spring right here, little fake out, get back above it, retest the spring. So you know, technically speaking, this above like 140-ish does look pretty good. Let's zoom out a little bit to the weekly. Man, I'm gonna have to. This is messing me up. I don't like when you get those bullshit prints. I wish TradingView would let you adjust the prices, so you can like fix some of this shit, so your chart doesn't look all whack. But anyway, this does look pretty damn good above about 140. Maybe even 135-ish. Open and close on a daily, like 2 or 3 of them above 150 would actually look pretty good, and I would look for a stab up here to 175 to $2 on that. Pulse chain's actually doing pretty good off this reaction, staying above the 21 now. The weekly still isn't very viable to look at yet. Obviously, there's resistance here at this 7.5 area. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to go to this one. We are kind of making a little bit of a flag. This candle is semi-ugly. So the longer we stall below like 6,100, might get a little bit bearish. But overall, this looks pretty damn good above that 5,300. We had to move it up. I don't know why they added a zero. Last week it was like in the hundreds, and now it's in the thousands. I mean, whatever, but above 5,300, it actually looks okay. All right, to traditionals. What are the traditionals doing? They're actually rallying, finding a base off this 4380 area, back in the middle of this range. Looks like bulls are attempting to regain the 55, and the weekly bounced beautifully off the 21. This could just be a buy the dip liquidation little break here, which would bode well for crypto. I know some people don't trade equities or and crypto. They trade either or. But you know, it would be nice to see equities go up, because that will just put risk on mode for stuff like crypto and riskier assets. Definitely has a lot of resistance though at 45, and one could possibly argue that we have like a complex I'm sorry, not inverted, a complex head and shoulders building right here. It would be something like that. So that definitely, I mean, it's still a little early, but you know, it kind of has the markings of that. And let's see how this week plays out, as we probably just likely ping pong in between and this range of 44 and like 45 pretty much. Back above 15K on the excuse me, the NASDAQ, so that's pretty good. Bouncing also off the 21, very nice bounce off of this little swing high here. So, I mean, this, y'all already know, above 15K, this is pretty good. Getting comfy below 15K, bad. And if you look here, we only had one. I mean, I guess this technically was an open and close below it. So we had one looking real scary. We come down, fill this gap over here on a hammer, though, and get immediately rejected by the bulls, and we start rallying pretty good. And we come back and test this pivot point again, and the bulls also confirm that that is very good local support here. So that's actually pretty interesting that we only had two candles open and close, and one of the candles was no follow through. A doji is a sign of indecision or like shut off, and so that's pretty interesting that we saw that off of these lows. So, and then now after that, they have not been able to open and close below 15K. So this is really giving solidity to that 15K number. Very important. So just like the 15K for NASDAQ, you got 34.2 for the Dow. Let's go to the weekly. Bouncing also right off the 21 with a hammer type candle right atop all this business is easily can be described as a liquidation break to test and confirm that bulls are strong enough to continue to break out here. Obviously, we just went right to this horizontal up here as the Dow loves to respect its horizontals. And if we zoom in, we are attempting to get back over the 20 and the 21 and the 55. Having a little bit of struggle today. And if we can get back over this magenta candle back here at 34,470-ish, especially tomorrow on a full open and close, we could easily be looking for some continuation to the upper part of this range that we're in. And that is 34.2 to 35.6 and change. Russell kind of bouncing off the 200, a little bit deeper of a retrace than the other majors, but it is trying to find some support in a similar fashion, just slightly below the EMAs, but also on a doji that we've been seeing kind of commonly through the majors here. And as we just kind of hold this 1850-ish area, like that is the line in the sand. I think even a 3 hour, let's go to the 3 hour. I think even a 3 hour below it does it. Yeah, look, none of these are open and closed below 1850. I think even like 1 or 2 3-hour candles below 1850, this thing will see new lows, and we could easily test this little cluster, and the top of that resides at about 1800. Dow Jones kind of just lollygagging here, the trans index, that is, not the actual index. But hey, look, it's hovering right above this swing high, so in similar fashion, above 15.5, it's okay. DAX is just more sideways. I mean, can we get more sideways in this? I will say this is starting to kind of stink of distribution a little bit. Bulls should, like, here's a little stinky distribution with a little rounded top before selling off. Bulls should be able to kind of get some Momo going. They've only been up here since late March. So what's going on? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Maybe we'll get another pump over here by mid-September, and then it'll just be in this range some more. Isn't that exciting? Anyway, getting back above 15.8 is kind of what we need to do on an open and close basis. And we are getting the EMAs squeezing up into each other. And that looks like mega price action by like mid-September. Huge pump and then dumped all the way down. If you zoom into this, I don't know what the hell happened in China on the market open, but look at this thing. Went up 3% and literally just gave it all up like immediately. That's kind of wild. Wild candle there. So I'm not really sure what to make of that, except we're respecting this kind of little cluster low here at about 30.50. I'm going to have to wait on this one to see how this closes. That's a little bit confusing of a candle for me. Sometimes that happens. VIX just getting clobbered. VVIX all the way back down to 82. This is kind of coinciding with liquidation break and continuation of the upside on the majors. We were talking about this last week a little bit. Once we get that open and close below 100, usually VIX fades and fades fast. And so we already got that. We're actually about to breach this 82 low. We get below 82, man. How do we not rally pretty hard on majors? Even you're seeing this on the futures. What do we got here? Caleb. Hey, Caleb. Appreciate the follow, man. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's see here. And if you want me to look at tickers, anybody, type them in the troll box. We do that after I finish the daily run list. We will do that daily. Daily troll box, daily run list. Whatever, y'all get it. Let's see here. Oh, look, sideways in this box. Struggling to get up into the 81 area. That's what we need to kind of clear in the shorter term. 81 and 77. And as long as we're between there, we're literally just ping-ponging and trying to get price acceptance from the bulls. And we're just not quite there. You can see we tried to make this little swing high on a doji with no follow through, and we're just back into the blue box. There is really good support though in the 77 handle. RTX and HON defense stocks. What do we see? Well, we'll go see in a second. As we touched on a little bit, getting this nice rally off of this nat gas. I missed this trade like a dumbass. Should have been taken. This has been an easy one. I've hit a couple of these this year because it's just been respecting this little higher low, higher high pattern for literally almost the entire year since I guess late March, technically speaking. But yeah, here it is again. Gets back above 280. You know, we could probably see like we've been looking for a little stab to either this 325 or depending how long this takes to resolve and where the 200 MA is. I would also use the 200 as the target as well, which you can see if this doesn't rally really hard for the next week or so, this will ratchet down about 2 or 3 pennies every couple of days. So, you know, that'll be pretty quick. This pivot point right here, very important too, $3 even. Bonds trying to find a little bit of the love. Not much follow through yet, but they haven't broke down either, so very much confusion there. Dixie saying you can suck it. We're gonna make higher yields. What's going on? We need auto. There we go. Dixie saying suck it. Vol flash is up here last week. Is this thing about to break out? Oh my god, dude, that would be crazy. That means rates probably going up some mo. And shit, I don't know. The market's been weird. Sometimes it's like, oh, rate hikes are amazing, and then sometimes it's like, oh no, they're death. So that's why it's hard to. Oh, look at this. We got a nice little trend line break. That's why it's hard just to analyze news because you just never know how the market's going to react to it. How many times have you seen like epic earnings and then the stock sells off 12%? You know. You just never know how people are going to interpret it. Now, is this a pretty aggressive slope? Yeah, it definitely is. See if it can work its way up to this next major resistance point at 105. We haven't seen that yet, but looks like it is definitely attempting. And here in another week or two, if we stay above 103.60, we will have all these crossed up to the upside, all the moving averages. TMF is just showing bonds. TNX is pretty much going to be showing like dollar yield stuff. We do have a magenta candle though right here, so that's noteworthy. So that's saying maybe the fear of rate hikes is going to be subdued for a little bit, and maybe 430 back above 430. That's when that argument gets real strong that we might be going to 6 and change percent wise at the Fed. Euro is obviously getting smashed on a little bit from the dollar strength. Gold's bouncing nicely off its 200, and the swing low here really needs to get back above 2,000 long term, though, or it's just kind of ping pong fest 3,000. Silver is the one that's actually shining a little bit harder. And last week we did close above both EMAs, so above about $24. This actually does look fairly decent. And if we could hold up here another couple of days, might even be tomorrow. If we stay above $24, we'll have chronological order on all of the EMAs. So that would be pretty beautiful for the upside. And let's see, man, vol flash right on the low, like literally the next day low candle. Beautiful. HV wins again. Platinum, very nice rally on platinum today, getting back above 950. This closes up here like this. You know, this can go into probably buy mode. Actually, hold on the weekly. Yeah, major resistance here at 980. But shorter term time frames, you could argue buying this down to 950 if it kind of consolidates and hovers over here. That could be actually a pretty decent setup. Palladium, it's just in this stupid box. 1,200, 1,300, who cares? GDX, nothing really there. GDXJ, boring. Lame. Let's go over to here real quick, and then we'll go check out those two tickers. I just want to look at our minor index. It's still hovering right on the center point. See, and this also to be, wow, interesting. Okay, so this also, just like GBDC, is actually just coming back to test breakout zones. So miners are actually in a way more bullish posturing chart-wise, setup-wise, than spot price. That is very, very interesting to me. Will GBDC win again in price prediction? That would be crazy. There's a lot of stocks going down right on earnings, ever though they posted 12% to the upside price. Yeah, it is super weird. It's definitely super weird. I've been noticing that all the time, man. They're just killing earnings, and then it's like, oh, let's dump now. And it's like, wait, what, dude? Like, what are you doing, bro? You just know humans are emotional, man. You never know. You just never freaking know. Let's see here. Cores. What's Cores doing? Dippy doodah down into the 50. Yeah, look at this, to 5666. Bulls trying to pump it today. Was that right at the open or something? Yeah, that might be a bad print. Regardless, though, proving on body wise, if it closes like this in the next, what is it? Oh, in the next whole minute and 38 seconds, that's actually a pretty decent close. And, you know, one could argue that buying this in the 60-cent handle is fairly decent. Oscillators are a little bit bearish, though, on the daily. On the weekly, though, we're still hovering above the 21. And so you always have to, I think, respect the higher term time frames on this guy. Yeah, I mean, look at this. It went right to pretty much the top of this business here at about, 53, 54 cents. So that's pretty interesting reaction. Not too bad. Not too shabby. All right, this guy wants to go look at what is that, Honeywell? Yep, Honeywell. Nice. What's Honeywell doing? Let's ratchet out far because this is a old school stock back to the 86. Oh yeah, actually late 85. Very nice. All right, so it's got good support on the monthly at mid 180s. Also has that same support on the weekly, so that's good. Also looking left, you're right on top of all this, so that's good. So we got weekly and monthly in a more bullish stature. How about daily, though? Earnings are coming up. Oh, way late, though. Way in late October, so got plenty of time for that. Daily's major support is also in the mid 180s. Interesting. So I like when all the time frames agree. That's very nice and sexy time. So, and let's see how far we've retraced off this pimp. Right on the 618. Very interesting. Okay, so you got a lot of shit right here in the mid 180s for support. So actually, that's not a bad one, man. You could argue this is a pretty good entry because once it loses like 184, 185, it could easily just go into the these little tests over here in the low 170s. But that's easy management there for sure. And are we back below? And we're well back below 26. We already have a close, two closes from last week below. Here, y'all probably can't see this. Hold on, let me make that a little bit easier. 16 and 10. Oh man, now the lines are going to be bright as hell because I turned up the brightness on that one line. Yeah, I don't need that much brightness. Yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah, actually, that's a pretty low risk entry buy right there, in my opinion. RTX. What is that? RTX. I'm not familiar. Electronic aerospace stuff, war stuff. Let's see. Let's start at the monthly and ratchet down. Similar position, sitting right atop the 55 and all this cluster over here. Weekly, sitting atop the 21, also making a higher low. So that's pretty good. A few weeks ago, pretty nasty candle, but we haven't gotten no follow through in over a month. So that's interesting. If we go to a daily, we actually got the 21 coming in to put that pressure on real quick. And I guess this might be what you were talking about. They missed earnings and dumped really hard, looks like. Yeah. Well, there's a good example of that right there. Smashed some earnings, smashed revenue, just did good. And they're like, let's go down 11%. It is getting caught by all this cluster and all this sideways action. So that's an interesting spot to kind of be chilling at. And I mean, this one's okay actually above like 81, the 81 handle. And let's go to the daily again real quick to see on the DMI where we're at. No, not quite below 26. So Bears still got the Momo so far. It is waning fairly quickly, but and just off structure above about like 80, low 80s is kind of support here. I guess if you were looking at real low time frames, you could even argue 84.40 below this. All these bodies would look pretty nasty. And this does have a descending triangle with a huge gap. So, man, that's a interesting spot there. And that gap, no, okay, yeah. So we got a giant gap right here. Gaps generally do get filled too, y'all. Don't forget. Overstock, bouncing. Look at this deep retrace, all the way down to close to the 21, a little bit further, but kind of all this little cluster here. Is it okay above like 120? Okay, above like 23. Yeah, it's all right. Above 23, it's okay. All right, I think that's probably it for today. I think das ist alles. Let's go to top traded. Is Microsoft and Apple done selling off? Kinda. How about Cisco? Cisco is, I guess, going to the moon now. Major resistance at 57, but looks pretty good. We're going to get a false breakdown on Disney here? Maybe. I don't see anything too crazy. NVIDIA's trying to hold on, but it's got a lot of bearish divergence between all this. And again, like we were talking about last week, as long as it's above kind of this magenta candle body and the 440 handle, it's okay. We lose 440 though, man, this thing probably, I think, easily comes to this trend line, and I think it'll breach it if it breaks 440. I think we could probably start trying to fill this gap, which, by the way, is all the way to $300. So it ain't no bullshit gap right here. That's 35% down. Yeah, you're welcome, Hellbound. No problem, man. You like Visa, MasterCard? Let's see. Visa. Yeah. Oh, I like this. Little saucer kind of pattern at the top here. Just needs to clear 245. And that would look real nice. Oh, yeah. Major resistance right there at 250. So let's ratchet that up to 250. 245 on the daily, but this actually does look fairly nice. I ain't got no problems with this as long as it's above like 235. Pretty good looking chart. And then MasterCard is it MC? No. Is M? No. Macy's. Oh God. Poor Macy's. I don't remember that one. MA, duh. Idiot. God. Oh, MasterCard, on the other hand, is at all-time highs. Wow. Holy crap, man. MasterCard just has been telling everyone to suck it since 2006, up 8,800%. Not too bad. That's like some shitcoin levels right there. And it is kind of made this little flag sort of right here that it's actually attempting to break out of this week. This actually does look really good above $400, man. Let's see if we can get this open and close above this like 404 level. But man, other than that, above about 390 to 400 looks very good. Has a very similar pattern too to Visa. Yeah, nice one, man. Not too shabby. Yeah, look at this. Lots of rallying today on the green. Let's go to FinViz real quick. No, not FI. Oh, you don't want to go there automatically? Oh, fine. I just wanted to see the... yeah, look at this. The heat map is all green pretty much. Very interesting. Very interesting. Green, green, green. Are the Bulls back in town? They might be. They might be. Any weed action? Nope. Not really. Just kind of flat. Biden doesn't want to save weed, apparently. Yeah, we all know he doesn't like that. He put in some strict ass drug laws back in the day. All right, let's look at IYR real fast. I kind of want to just curious about real estate here. Yeah, sideways as hell, man. Yeah, that the rates are just too high. You just can't get no freaking loans, man. Ooh, pretty nasty on the builders. What's XLB look like? Let's look at that. Man, sideways as hell since rate hikes. They're just kind of everyone's waiting for the Fed to pivot and fold, man. I'm gonna look at Hood and Planeteer. Planeteer, nah, now it's looking more like distribution. It was looking a lot better before. The weekly still looks okay because we're sitting above 14. So above 14, it actually does look kind of good. But on the daily, it's starting to look a little distribution esque. And looks like they got slapped on earnings. Oh, barely 0.01%. 61K, really? Really? That's pretty much even, right? BlackBerry. Oh, snap. What the hell? What the? I swear, didn't we look at BlackBerry on Friday or was it? It must have been a Monday stream. Holy moly. Well, hey, BlackBerry. BlackBerry's saying suck it to the Bears. And wow, that's a nice candle close. You'll know we love seeing especially a weekly, take out 2 EMAs in one swoop. That's actually very good. And this looks pretty damn sexy above $5 on BlackBerry. Very interesting. Huh. Not too shabby. And this has actually got more higher than average volume too on this weekly candle right here. So not too shabby. 323. Okay. All right. I think that's it. I think we're going to wrap this. BB is getting bought out. Oh, is that what's happening? Who's buying them? Do you know? So this is going to get pegged out, or is it just a rumor? Because a lot of times, if that's why it's pumping, that shit will probably get faded. Yep, buyout rumor. You are correct. Who wants to buy them? Let's see. Blah 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 blah. Veritas Capital. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay then. Well, whatever. That's just a looks like just a rumor, so who knows. Usually when they actually do get bought out, the stock will do this. It'll pump really hard and then go ping, and then it'll literally just go like this. That's generally how you know. But yeah, buyout rumor. And I mean, they're in a lot of the software actually for car stuff now. I don't know if a lot of people know about that. They do what the hell is it called? I can't think of the name right now, but they're in a fuck ton of cars, like for the touchscreens and all that kind of shit. So is it Q or something? Damn, I don't remember. Yeah, it's Veritas. I just looked it up real quick. So again, that's just a little rumor. So who knows what the hell will happen. All right, let's wrap it up. Bitcoin. Come on. Don't make any more lows. Just go sideways. But not for too much longer, because if we keep accepting price action down here for the next week, that would be 2 opening closes, and then we'll have to start sounding the alarm if that were to happen. So it is just the start of the week, so don't panic yet. We still got 6 days, but if that were to happen, I'll have to start flipping my tune. Like I said last week, we get 2 of these open and closing below the 21 and really below every single major moving average at this point. That could be a big problem. Also, don't forget though that GBDC is above. The minor index is still higher highs, higher lows, very different posturings than to spot price. So that is very noteworthy. And the last times that happened, GBDC has been right on those occasions. Now, one thing I do want to look at real quick before we sign off, I know this index doesn't go that far back, so let's just see real fast. Yeah, look, even the minor index, that's what I wanted to see if it got faked out in 21. It did not. So it's not getting faked out now to the downside. So that is very interesting. And to wrap this all the way up, we're going to look at two charts. Hash ribbons, is it still up? Let's see. It is still up. Hash ribbons is all the way up. And let's go to our halving chart. And don't forget, the halving is sooner than you think. Look how close this dang red line is. Look at this. Look at this. It's so close. And every time in the halving, now, does that mean it's 100% of the time going to happen every time in the future? Definitely doesn't. But so far, it has every single time, except this little blip with COVID. And technically, it did rally after the halving anyway, but it did have a little bit of a dump. And there was a little bit of a dump here on the 2016 cross through, but it did rally really hard into the announcement. So almost doubled to that point. Are we going to get similar posturing? Probably. Stay tuned. We'll know here in less than 180 days, and that'll go by super fast, y'all. Y'all already know. So it is interesting. We got a little bifurcation between the minor index and GBDC looking way more bullish than spot price. Will they be right again while spot price gets faked out? We'll have to wait and find out. Let's see what happens for Hump Day stream. We'll see y'all guys then. I hope you have a beautiful start of the week. Happy Monday to all. Thank you for joining. This has been No Noiz. I am Z-Rex, and I'll catch y'all Wednesday for Hump Day stream. Peace.